on this episode of the Clip Service Podcast. Guys, we hope that this isn't the last episode of the season, but the Clippers have unfortunately put themselves in a position where that is certainly possible. Unfortunately, took a loss to the Portland Trailblazers, which was last Friday, which ended up being essentially the game that decided the eighth seed. The likelihood of the Clippers getting the eighth seed right then and there, and then unfortunately lost to the Thunder. Took a win against the Warriors, who the Clippers will be facing tomorrow on Wednesday to decide if they'll stay alive or if their season ends. So quite a bit to talk about. Roll and I are fairly nervous, but that's why we're here. We're here to hash it out, here to tell you guys what we think. So without further ado, let's make it happen.
What's up, Clipper Nation, and welcome to the Clip Service Podcast. Make sure to find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, and YouTube. And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Clip Service Pod. I'm Rolla, and this is my co-host, Nick. Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it, indeed, guys. That was as silly an intro as I've heard from you, Rolla.
Yeah.
And that's what this season has been. That's what this season has been for the Clippers. So it's very fitting. The Clippers started out 6-21. It was dark times. Clippers were able to rally, string together a bunch of wins behind, obviously like James Harden, Zoo, Kawhi, everybody started contributing. Season carries along. Everything's going well. Trade deadline happens. We trade away James Harden, trade away Zoo, bring in a bunch of young pieces, and the Clippers still continue to win. Then, unfortunately, a couple injuries to Yannick, John Collins, a multitude of injuries, Isaiah Jackson, and the wheels start to fall off. Ben Mathurin falls off a little bit. Darius Garland strings together a couple bad games. And the Clippers are now at the in the ninth seed, playing for their lives, which will be tomorrow against the Golden State Warriors, which is kind of fitting because if you guys remember last season, the Clippers were fighting for a spot out of the play-in against the Warriors to end the season, ended up winning that game behind James Harden and Kawhi Leonard to be able to match up, to avoid the play-in, match up with the Nuggets. Obviously, we know how that went. But we're kind of seeing that again. So, Rolla, just right off the bat, before we get into a quick recap, I want your synopsis of how the Clippers ended the season and your opinions on everything.
Yeah, I think overall the Clippers ended the season pretty poorly. We started the season off horrendous. So, when you look at the season as a totality, we started horrible and then we ended better than we thought, right? But I think the last couple games that were key to us making the playoffs, we entered and performed pretty horribly. With us losing to the Trailblazers, which was in a very important game. We played them twice within a week or so and lost to them both times. And, it's pretty frustrating to lose to a team that has been, below you pretty much the entire season after that first horrible start to the season. But pretty much since then, they've been kind of that 11th, 12th seed. And then, to see them kind of shoot up and completely destroy us in the biggest games of the regular season, to put themselves into the ninth seed or is it the eighth seed to have a chance to make the playoffs, win one game instead of winning two. I think I don't know. It just kind of hurts to see the Clippers kind of resurge during the season and then kind of all fall apart to end it. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think that the thing that makes this most upsetting is the fact that there was that significant stretch of the season where the Clippers really turned into a feel-good story, both with the James Harden Zoo, iteration of the team and the post-deadline iteration of the team with Garland and Mathurin and Isaiah Jackson. And to have all of that hard work kind of be pissed away at the end of the season. I'm not saying that the Clippers season ends tomorrow, but now that's a very real possibility. And having your season, a season in which you kind of grind it out, to give yourself a chance to get out of the doldrums that you start out the season with, to put yourself in a position to have your season end in this way, it's frustrating. And I think the thing that makes it a little bit of an easier pill to swallow is the fact that the Clippers have gotten younger and they're geared towards the future. And so, there is that light at the end of the tunnel, but, this very well might be tomorrow might be Kawhi Leonard's last game as a Clipper. Because, we've heard chatter that Kawhi Leonard might get traded this offseason, and if he doesn't, he only has one more year guaranteed, which is next year, not tomorrow, next year. And so, there's still a lot of, unanswered questions. And it just sucks because, also, on top of it, the fact that the Clippers were in this position, it was very avoidable. The Clippers lost two back-to-back games against the New Orleans Pelicans late in the season, which was awful. Expected, but awful. The Clippers lost both of their most recent games against the Portland Trailblazers. Obviously, the seeding for those games was extremely important. And so, obviously, that game against the Thunder last week, that was one that you expect the Clippers to lose. But the following game against the Portland Trailblazers, it's like, that's one that the biggest game of the season by far, and the Clippers, fought their way back. Let's just, now that we're on the topic of that, let's just jump into that game. I don't think we really need to dive into the Thunder game, because again, that was a game that the Clippers were kind of expected to lose. The game against the Mavericks was awesome. It was a blowout. The Clippers pissed away a lead, but were able to, storm back and take control of that game. But the game that I wanted to talk about really was the Portland Trailblazers game and then the game against the Warriors. So in that Trailblazers game, obviously looking at the box score, 24 from Kawhi with 8 rebounds. Really good stuff from him in this one. And I think, unfortunately, that's kind of been the theme in this last quarter of the season. Or not even quarter, but the last month of games. Kawhi Leonard's really stepped up to the plate and performed like a near MVP candidate, in my opinion. And he just hasn't gotten enough help. And that was kind of true in this one as well. Kawhi Leonard, 24 points, 10 for 20 from the field. So not extremely efficient, but good enough. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. He was really solid. Outside of him, Brooke actually had a pretty good game, 21 points. But yeah, outside of that, really just not a lot of help. Benedict Mathurin, 0 points in 5 minutes. Jordan Miller was great off the bench with 15. Darius Garland had a little bit of a bounce back game with 16, but in 41 minutes, you expect more from him. It was just rough. And that's unfortunately kind of been the theme. I think a big part of that has been Isaiah Jackson's injury, which has left Brook Lopez the only center for the Clippers. And then the regression of Ben Mathurin. I mean, he's been so bad the last 3 weeks, and he was so good right after the trade deadline that we kind of didn't think that was going to be a possibility, but he's really, really struggled. The one thing that I liked about this game was obviously Kawhi Leonard, putting together 24. Obviously, that's not we needed more. But that was solid from him. And another thing that I liked was the Clippers were down 20, ended up I think tying the game or at least getting close, and then unfortunately took their foot off the gas and lost the game. But the fact that they fought back that was something that I liked. And what I didn't like was obviously the loss and the fact that the Clippers didn't take this game as seriously as they obviously should have. And another thing, man, is obviously I know you don't like doing this, Rolla, but I did want to touch on this. Clippers shot 12 free throws and scored 42 points in the paint. The Portland Trailblazers shot 35 free throws and scored 46 points in the paint. So only led the Clippers in points in the paint by 4 and shot 23 more free throws than the Clippers. To me, that is, and I wasn't even able to watch this whole game, but from what I saw, it seemed like every possession or every other possession, Denny Avdia or someone else was going to the line, and the Clippers weren't getting those calls. And like in a game that's that meaningful, obviously the refs have a tough job, but like when there's that much of a free throw disparity and the points in the paint, which is a really good indicator of, if a team's trying to get to the line, if there's that much of a disparity, like something's got to give. And that was really frustrating to me. So that was the thing that I probably disliked the most was the fact that the Blazers, and good on them for getting to the line, but nobody wants to sit around and watch a team shoot 35 free throws when the other team's not even cracking 15. So I don't know, Rolo, what did you think?
Yeah, you said nobody wants to watch a team shoot 35 free throws when the other team doesn't get a chance. The Portland Trailblazers fans love to see that, and they love to see the win, and they love to be the 8th seed in the league right now. That's who likes to see that. To me, like like you said, I don't really see that as an excuse ever. The refs do what the refs do. These players have been playing, NBA basketball for years. They know how to get fouls. Kawhi knows how to get fouls. Like, you're trying to tell me Darius Garland at this point in his career can't get more free throws, get more fouls, draw more fouls? It's part of the game. So to me, like, I'm not even gonna say like I liked anything in this game, because like you said, this game was so important. We needed to come in with a fire, and instead we came in and was kind of getting blown out to start the game, and then we came back a little bit, but then we ultimately lost by 10 points, 9 points.
Yeah.
So for me, this game kind of told me that this Clippers team isn't ready to see the playoffs. To be honest, I'll be shocked if we beat the Warriors and then, again, have to beat Trailblazers or the Suns. I mean, the Trailblazers have shown that they are capable of beating us in back-to-back games. If I were a betting man, I wouldn't choose the Clippers, and that's just the fact of the matter. I think that a lot of changes have to happen this summer. I've been harping on this. I think the coaching staff have to really, really change. I think the Clippers are not built to win a championship currently. And when I say built, I mean from the ground up. I mean from the coaching staff. I mean from the ball boys. I mean from the players. I mean from the towel boys.
Honestly, this whole season,
boys. I think
this whole season went downhill when the ball boys started acting up.
It's sorry.
Oh, we're having some technical difficulties,
sorry,
guys.
Lagged super hard.
That's all right. Proceed.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, I think we got to revamp the whole Clippers. I think we're started on the right path. Trading James Harden away, getting rid of Zubac. I think, it's just unfortunate to see Ben Mathurin kind of have such a low couple games. But, again, I think that Ben Mathurin and Darius Garland are potentially going to be our future. And I mean, I don't hate, but, putting this on one player, Kawhi had 24 points, but in a game this big, you have to do more. I've seen this type of game from him so many times recently where, we'll be in the playoffs, we'll be playing the Nuggets, we'll be playing whoever, and Kawhi will be averaging like 20 points. We don't need him to average 20 points. Like, he needs to score more. He needs to be more aggressive. I mean, 20 field goals is a decent amount of field goals, but I mean, I think I need to see more from him. He had 3 free throws. You're trying to tell me Kawhi Leonard can't draw a free throw? The guy has the ball in his hands every possession.
Well, that's kind of the point that I was making, though. I mean, like, you look at the field goal percentage, almost identical. You look at the points in the paint, almost identical. But the fact that the fact of the matter is, Deni Avdija shot 13 free throws to Kawhi's 3. Kawhi had more field goal attempts. That, to me, that, like, I can't get on the team for not getting to the line, because clearly they were forcing their way into the hoop. And what do you want to do when you want to get to the line? You force your way to the hoop. That, to me, was why I was frustrated with the officiating.
But if you force your way to the hoop and they defend without fouling, then what are you supposed to do, right? I think there are ways to put the defenders in a position where they have to foul. I mean, we see Steph Curry do that all the time. We see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do that all the time. So, like, I just don't really use that as an excuse. I think we'll see that when we play the Warriors. I think we'll see Steph Curry draw fouls. We'll see, foul. They'll try to put, Kawhi in foul trouble. Like, we're going to see that. The thing that kind of irritates me, and I can't remember if I talked about this early in the pod or if I talked to you off the pod, but this game, I mean, we played the Trailblazers. This game was on April 10th. The last game against the Trailblazers was on March 31st. So 10 days had gone by, and we did not have a game plan set in stone, a concrete enough game plan to completely blow out a team that isn't even a playoff team. Like, if we're being honest. So to me, I'm just confused. Like, what are they doing behind the scenes? What are the Clippers doing behind the scenes? What are the players doing behind the scenes to have not been able to beat this type of team? I mean, we see Ty Lue led teams lose back-to-back games in the playoffs. I mean, you see the 3-1 Cavs. Many times the Clippers have been down 2-0 against teams. And that's, I feel like, because Ty Lue refuses to make adjustments until it's too late. And I think that is one of the reasons why we're losing to a Trailblazers team back-to-back. I think that's one of the reasons why we're going to lose. Well, I believe we're going to lose the play-in games, is because I don't think that we can win 2 games back-to-back against playoff-level teams. I think we'll see this Trailblazers team a third time, and if we beat the Warriors, I think we'll see the Trailblazers team a third time, and I don't know if we're going to be able to, have the adjustments to beat them in that game. And so, after that, who would we play? We'd be playing the OKC Thunder if we beat the Trailblazers, and that is going to be a sweep. Like, let's be honest, they are the best team in the league by far. And, it's just like, I understand that and I accept that. I just really would like to see changes from the Clippers coming into the summer. There's a big name that I don't want to see on the roster anymore. I'll put it like that. So,
yeah, I mean, obviously Ty Lue comes. Obviously Ty Lue comes with his his shortcomings, and like I'm critical of Ty Lue when I feel like I need to be, but I think that, like, in my eyes, this last series of games that the Clippers have lost, like the last series of games, specifically in the losses, I think that there's a lot more than just Clippers not being prepared. I think that the bigger issue is, obviously, there's been a ton of injuries for the Clippers to key players the last several months. Losing Giannis was huge. And then we still thankfully had Isaiah Jackson. I think the fact that we had Giannis and Isaiah Jackson at our disposal didn't force Lawrence Frank's hand to try and go get another center. So we are really banking on both of those guys, along with Brook Lopez, to be able to get playing time. And Giannis was on his way to, in my opinion, being a starting level center. And I think when he's back and healthy, he will be. But I think that losing both of those guys, obviously Yannick for the whole season and Isaiah Jackson for several weeks during games that we really, really needed him, I think that we would have beat the Spurs the last time that we played him if we had Isaiah Jackson. But losing those guys, losing John Collins to 3 separate injuries, he hasn't really been able to get his mojo back. He was playing at a ridiculously efficient level before he started getting hurt. Darius Garland taking a little bit of a dip, and then Ben Mathurin, who was like our dynamo off of the bench, turning into a guy that just a couple games ago played 5 minutes and went scoreless. Like all of these things are a bigger factor to me. Nico Batum regressing to the point where we can't play him. Obviously, Kobe Sanders has stepped into that role and he's really succeeded. But like, there's been a lot more to me from a personnel standpoint. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but it's just been injuries and regression from certain guys. And I think that that's been a bigger factor than Ty Lue. Obviously, I'm not saying that Ty Lue's perfect, and I mean maybe it would be the move to try and let him walk. But I think that there are other things that need to be addressed, and I do agree that certain things need to be addressed during the offseason. I do think that Brook Lopez, I don't know what his contract's looking like, but he's not the answer. I think that we need a little bit more center depth. I think depending on what the Clippers draft situation is going into this offseason, they need to prioritize drafting a bigger forward. Obviously, I think they have like a 40-something% chance of having that pick conveyed to them this offseason. So they're definitely not guaranteed a first-round pick. But there are things to do this offseason. It's just a matter of what, and I don't necessarily think that changing the coaching staff is a priority. That's not to say that it shouldn't happen, but I think that there are bigger fish to fry for the Clippers. Also, another interesting factor is considering the way that Benedict Mathurin's been playing as of late. Benedict Mathurin is a restricted free agent this offseason, as is John Collins. Do the Clippers let one of those guys walk? I don't know. We'll see. I certainly don't think Benedict Mathurin is worth anything higher than a mid-level exception right now. Obviously, we'll see what happens, but I mean, he's got to be better. And so we'll see. I think that speaking of Ben Mathurin, I think a good segue into talking about maybe not harping on all of the negative for him is the following game against the Warriors, in which the Clippers won by 5. It was the last game of the regular season. The leading scorer for the Clippers was Benedict Mathurin. Coming off the bench, was able to score 20 points, 7 for 17, so not super efficient, but still 20 points from Benedict Mathurin with what we've seen lately is really nice to see. Another thing that stood out to me in this game was 17 from Bogdan Bogdanovic, who actually got some playing time in this one. I would be curious to see tomorrow against the Warriors in the first game of the play-in if Bogey shares some of the minutes with Benedict Mathurin with the way that he played against the Warriors that game. Because if he's healthy and if he's hitting his shots, obviously we've seen Bogey have big games for the Clippers and make big plays. So that'll be something that I'm looking for. Those are the two things that I liked. What I didn't like was obviously Kawhi Leonard sat in this one. At this point, it really didn't matter. The only way that the Clippers weren't going to play in a 9-10 matchup was if the Kings beat the Portland Trailblazers, but that is not something that anybody should ever bet on. So I kind of understand resting Kawhi, but I don't love the fact that the Clippers Kawhi needs reps. Going into a win-or-go-home game, I would have loved for him to just get 15 minutes this game, see if he, to get to his spots, get a clean 15, 20 points, and call it a night. So I didn't really love that. Obviously, I think it's gamesmanship from the Clippers, but I don't know. Other than that, I can't really nitpick. I mean, the Clippers took the win. It's important only for the fact that this was a way for the Clippers to kind of game plan for tomorrow. But yeah, a meaningless win other than that. Rolo, what did you like and dislike in this one?
Yeah, I would say the one thing I liked was I actually liked the fact that we sat out Kawhi, but only because I think that if we're sitting him out this next game against the Warriors, I need to see this dude play at least like 90+% of the game. And I think he will have an excuse, and I think he has to. This is a winner go home type of game. this is a basically single elimination game. Steph Curry is going to play his heart out. Kawhi needs to show up. There's going to be no excuse. You had your rest. You got to chill. You got to watch the Warriors from the bench. Like we played them. What was it, last night? 2 nights ago? And
2 nights ago,
a recent team. You saw Steph Curry. You get to watch tape on Steph Curry, how he's doing, like with your own eyes after his injury, and you get to kind of like analyze that and execute in the game tomorrow. So for me, there's gonna be zero excuse for Kawhi if we don't win that game. So hopefully he is locked in. And then, I wouldn't say there was really anything I disliked about this game. I think our role players really showed up. Darius Garland, unfortunately did not have the best field goal percentage. He went 6 of 17 from the field. But other than that, I felt like everyone kind of knew their roles and played a great game to win.
Totally. It was great to get the win. I don't think that either team really showed much of their hand in this game. I think that both teams were being very conservative with what they were showing, obviously, because both teams were pretty well aware that they were going to play each other tomorrow. So, it's still great to get the win. But what I wanted to ask you, Rolla, before we get on out of here is going to tomorrow in a game that really decides if the Clippers continue on or if they go home and start their offseason early. What are the 3 things that you're looking for the Clippers in this game? I know that you don't necessarily think that the Clippers are going to win, but let's say for the sake of argument, the Clippers did win and go on to play either the Suns or the Trailblazers for the 8th seed. What are the 3 things, if you can pick 3 things, that the Clippers need to do or that you're looking for in order to get the win?
I think the number one thing that the Clippers need to do is they need to come out with energy. They need to come out like they're playing for their lives. And honestly, I feel like that's really it. As long as you have a solid game plan, that at this level of the season, the postseason, the games are chess matches. Like the coaching staff, Ty Lue has to make in-game adjustments. There's no game in 2 days from now. So, I would really want to see in-game adjustments. I'd really want to see Kawhi Leonard, our star, playing his heart out. And I'd really want to see our role players playing their roles to perfection. If all of those things happen, we are in the playoffs. Unfortunately, like I said, we'd be playing OKC, which is quite literally a nightmare.
Kind of a death sentence, yeah, but we'll cross that bridge if we get there.
Yeah, outside of that, I think the only way the way we win is by having a solid plan, making adjustments, and our star player has to play like a star player. Everyone's been saying Kawhi has been playing like a top 5 player MVP this season. He needs to show it when the lights are the brightest. Steph Curry obviously has many times in his career. So let's see if Kawhi can also.
Yeah, totally. That last point is something that I'm going to share as well. I think that first and foremost, Kawhi needs to set the tone. He got an extra day of rest. Obviously, it's going to be kind of a duel between him and Steph Curry, just given the personnel that both teams have. Obviously, both teams have guys that can get it going. I would say that Brandon Pajemski is the guy that I'm watching for the Warriors, and for the Clippers, obviously Darius Garland. And then you have your X factors like Benedict Mathurin and John Collins. But it starts with the leaders of the team, Steph Curry, and for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard. So I think Kawhi Leonard needs to go out there and play like he had that extra day of rest and play like this is, a winner go home game, because it is. And the second thing that I want to touch on is, to me, more so than offense, I think the Clippers need to lead with their defense in this game. And specifically from Chris Dunn, because Chris Dunn and Derek Jones are probably going to have the assignments on Steph Curry. And I think that if you cut the head off the snake and you shut Steph Curry down, or at least slow him down, don't let him go for a 30-point quarter, I think the Clippers are in really good position to kind of put this one away, but it has to be done on the defensive end. You can't lose sight of their open shooters. If Steph Curry's not hitting his shots, make sure that you aren't doubling and you aren't leaving guys like Pajemski and guys like DeAnthony Melton and Gary Payton and Will Richard and all those other guys, leaving guys like that open, and it starts on the defensive end. I think that if the Clippers can shore up things on the defensive end, I think they'll be in really good shape. And then the last thing that the Clippers need to do, I think, is just play big. And I think that I say that because Isaiah Jackson, who I think Ty Lue said participated in practice and shoot around today, that he is still a question mark for tomorrow. If he plays, that is a huge, huge help for the Clippers, because I don't think that they have a good chance of winning this one without him, to be perfectly honest with you. But if for whatever reason, if the Clippers are without a center other than Brook Lopez, everybody on the floor needs to play big. And what I mean by that is make sure that you're grabbing that, it has to be gang rebounding. You have to box out on any big that the Warriors put on the floor. Don't let them get second chance points, because you are at a strict disadvantage when Brook Lopez is the only center that you have at your disposal. And he's no exception to the rule. I think that Brook Lopez needs to change his game plan that he normally has and actually go out and try and get 7, 8, 9, 10 rebounds and not settle for 3, 4 rebounds and just camp at the 3-point line. Brook Lopez needs to play like a center in this game. And I know I only said 3, but I think that one of the most important things in this game to kind of round everything out is the fans. I think that the Clippers fans need to make sure that they show out in full force, because I was at the last game that the Clippers played the Warriors. Not this one from the other day, but the one prior. And it was almost 50-50. Warriors fans travel really well. Obviously, that dynasty run that the Warriors had brought in a lot of fans, and, Warriors fans are everywhere, and they show out and represent their team, no matter which city that they may be playing in. So Clippers need to make sure that they protect home court advantage and be the loudest fans in the building. I don't think I'm going to be able to go to this one. I don't have tickets. I might have a last minute decision to show up and show out. But if I don't, I hope that every Clipper fan in that building, makes their presence felt and protects the dome court advantage for the home team.
Yep.
Rolla, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Okay. Guys, sorry about the technical difficulties today. Rolla, did you have anything else you wanted to touch on before we get on out of here in what might be the last game? Hopefully not, but might be the last game for the Los Angeles Clippers.
No, I don't. I mean, I feel like I said everything I needed to say. I'm really expecting, if we win, that Kawhi has a big game. I feel like I've already expressed my feelings, and I think that where the Clippers can win potentially in the future, I think starts off from this summer. But we take it day at a time, one day at a time. So hopefully we can get the win tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't hear most of that, Rolla. I heard something about this summer, but I'm gonna assume that you said something along the lines of you hope that the Clippers play with a lot of passion, play with a lot of urgency, because this is it, guys. I really, I think, and I touched upon it earlier this episode, I'm not as dead set on the Clippers going far in the playoffs this year because of their moves at the deadline. I'm really looking forward to the future of this team, especially when they get guys like Giannis back and stuff like that, and really have their young core together. But I would really, really like to see the Clippers give themselves a chance to at least attempt to try and play the Thunder in the playoffs. Obviously, I'm not making any predictions on that because it doesn't weigh in the Clippers' favor at all. Yeah. But I think that it's important because, like I said, this could be Kawhi's last time in a Clipper uniform. And I think to go out, and even if you don't succeed, go out and give it your best and show the fans that you care and that you've appreciated your time here. I would like to see that sense of urgency, regardless of what happens. And if I see that and the Clippers lose, then so be it. But really, really hoping for a Clippers win tomorrow, and then a subsequent win against the 7 or 8th current 7 or 8th seed. And we'll probably, if depending on what happens tomorrow, we might do another pod. But if we do lose tomorrow, then we'll probably take a little bit more time to put together a bigger synopsis of what the Clippers are going to do this offseason. But it all hinges on this game against the Warriors. So hoping for the best, Clipper Nation. Let us know what you guys think about the season as a whole, what you guys think about tomorrow. If you're nervous, if you're feeling great, optimistic, pessimistic, all of the above. Let us know what you think. As Rolla said up top, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Deezer. Give us a follow on Twitter and on Instagram at ClipServicePod. Guys, we thank you so much for tuning in. Clipper Nation, we got to get behind our team because this is it. It ain't no lip service. This has been the Clip Service. Rolla, tell the people what they want to hear.
Let's go, Clips.
Let's go, Clips.